Hello and welcome along to another episode and another season of this FM21 Build a Nation story from Bangor City with me, Daniel. We're back for the start of the 8th season today, and we have got an earlier trip in Europe than we usually come back for. Because normally the last 2 or 3 years, the first qualifying round has been a nice easy one, and then it's the second where it's really got going. But we've had an unfortunate draw. We come up against Shamrock Rovers from the League of Ireland, a real league that we've got loaded and littered with very good players on a similar wage structure to us. So this is going to be a really tight game, and it's going to be intriguing to see if we come out on top. Of course, if you lose in the first qualifier of the Champions League, you drop straight into the Europa Conference. So we really do need to sneak through this one, and we'll wait and see if we can, but I imagine it's going to be a test. We've also got transfer news, albeit we're back slightly earlier than normal, so it's not quite in full swing yet. And we'll look ahead to the new season too. Plenty of stuff to get through on and off the pitch. So if you are looking forward to this one and another season with Bangor City, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Before we've got this draw, to be honest, I was thinking one more season and then we can really push on and spend big. Spend on transfers, spend on wages. But this might set us back a little bit. We need to have the financial income from Europe every season. So we have to make the group stages of one of the tournaments. If you want to keep up to date with this season and see if we can do just that, then subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on for daily FM21 content. We'll have a look as we go through the window and the qualifying rounds in Europe at how some of the other sides are getting on. And of course tomorrow, TNS, Barrytown United and Bala Town all start their Europa Conference qualifying. One of them's got a really difficult draw, but the other two we'll be hoping can sneak through the first round. So let's go and have a look very firstly at our couple of transfers so far this year. Not a lot as we mentioned because it's only the 7th of July. There's a few potentially going out. Ethan Vaughan, Tyrese Palmer and Kieran Clark. But if we have a look at the transfer history, we have brought 2 players in. Loads of youngsters have left the club, including some of the slightly older ones. So the likes of Richard Roberts, who'd been out on loan a couple of years. He is wanted, so hopefully Newtown will sign him after a successful loan. Gwyn Tudor, another one. Who wants him? Aberystwyth, so another top tier side. We really want the other Welsh clubs to take some of our youngsters. They're not good enough for us, but they're certainly good enough for this league. And hopefully a few of these others will be snapped up before the season. Because there's some decent players there. And Airbus looking at Polak, so it is a promising sign that a few of them are getting looked at. However, we've got 2 ins to talk about. They're both young players coming from England, and there's a reason one of them's had to come in. But let's talk about the good signing first. Harvey Lloyd, I think it is. I presume that's how it's pronounced. Anyone who's Welsh down in the comments, you're more than welcome to correct me. But Harvey Lloyd has come in from Liverpool, where he was released at 18 years of age. Basically, after his scholarship, he's not been given a pro deal. He's a natural holding midfielder and ball winner, who can also play in the centre of midfield as well. So covers 3 positions in the diamond. Can also cover pretty inadequately up front, in centre half and at right back. So he really is a decent player on paper. 2.5 ability, 4.5 potential, under 20 international for Wales, only 300 quid a week, which for a good youngster now is almost impossible. To put it into perspective, to keep Ryan Hughes in the summer, the poor centre half, we had to offer him 400 quid a week. So this is a really good wage. He's good in the tackle, he works really hard. We're going to work on his personality a bit in the mentoring groups, but otherwise his base of attributes are pretty good. And I really think he can become something. We also didn't have a natural backup holding midfielder last year. So he will be the first backup in the holding role to Archie Woods. Then Josh Benson or Harry Clifton will be the 4th choice centre mid, and we'll let the other one leave the club. So a good sign in there. The other one was sort of enforced, which is Keegan Riley. He's a right back who comes in from Southampton at 19 years of age. £850 a week, 2.5 star ability, 4.5 potential. We might loan him out, because a couple of the English sides want him, but the rest of the window will determine that. He can also cover at centre half, on the right wing, in centre mid, left back, basically everywhere. But he is a good player. He's good in the tackle, he's good defensively, he's good physically. Maybe not the best going forward for our flying wing backs. But the reason we've had to bring him in is because we couldn't get Kai McDonald, you'll have to excuse the keyboard, back in from Tottenham. He is loan listed, but they want him to play with higher quality players. Now I'm hoping, because we had this with Ian Brooks last year, and then by about August, or when we got to the 3rd or 4th qualifying round in Europe, they gave up. They let us have him. Once they knew we were going to be a group stage side somewhere. But for now, we've not got the Kai McDonald effect. So we're going for a much weaker right back, but someone with the potential and who we own. And of course, we've still got Jack Hankin, who was our first ever good youth player. and our second one's just coming through after the last intake, so we'll look at their progress as well. But a solid signing, a good player. It's disappointing because of who we had last year, and it is a downgrade to the team, and he has got some attributes missing in key areas like concentration, anticipation. But he's a good footballer defensively, just needs a bit more on the front foot. What we have got though is the renewal of some loan deals. So Salam Al-Zabad, he stayed with us as well. He can be our right back, so if we get in a good centre half, we can move him across. It's not completely rigid on that front just yet, but he clearly is better at centre half and was really good last year. Yes, then Weaver, we already knew was staying. He's a very good left back. And then of course, in centre midfield, Ian Brooks stays again. So as you can see, Tyrese Palmer probably on the way out. We've tried to transfer this Clifton because he's on a much higher wage than Benson. But Benson's the one who's wanted, so we might end up losing him instead. We'll wait and see. But let's have a quick look at off the pitch as well. The finance is not yet improved because we haven't started our European run. And we did try to get a little bit of a stadium improvement or expansion, but no such luck. What we have had though, if we go and have a look generally, is an upgrade to all of our other facilities throughout the last year. So for those who missed the updates during last season, we've got great training facilities, good youth facilities, excellent recruitment and exceptional coaching. So off the pitch, we're about as good as we can be at the minute. What we've got to try and do now is work on it. And if we can get another season of European football this year from the group stages with the income, I think we can finally start to invest on that side. What we've also got though is some good news from Wales generally. Now we know the coefficient's a key part of this save, so let's go and have a very brief look at it. So what we've done comes into effect next season from the European placements, but Wales has gone up to 30th, which means the first two European places after the league winner, which is us normally of course, goes into the second qualifying round of the Europa Conference rather than the first. And if the season after we can get up to 29th, that will be all three teams. So we're looking at that in the hope that if Barry or TNS or Bala can get through 2 or 3 rounds, if we can get to group stage football again, surely one of these will drop off and we'll get up to 29th. That's the hope. Also importantly, if we have a look on the league front, and something that's going to really help next season, is that the Welsh League has moved up to 79th place and is now top of the 1.5 star leagues. So next season, if we've made European group stage football again, surely that will become 2 star. And surely if the clubs are going straight into the second qualifying round and they're progressing more, we're going to be on a par with League 2. And that means that some of those Welsh sides will be buying players, surely from the National League and League 2, or released players from those leagues, which is such an upgrade on what they're getting at the moment, bar the few quality players coming through their youth teams. So I'm really hopeful that if we can get there with the Irish Premiership, with League 2, surely that's a massive moment for this save. We can start to expand our horizons, and the other clubs in the country can start signing players from the other UK leagues, the professional leagues as well. And then we've just got to get the clubs themselves to turn pro. But there is some positive news on that, and because we're early in the window, we're not going to look too much just yet. But when we come back for the next qualifier, whichever competition it's in, I'll have a brief look at how the Welsh transfer window's going as well. Make sure they're not losing all of their stars across the league, particularly TNS, and make sure there's some investment too. But normally the summer's quite disappointing, so I don't want to get too excited. But with all of that stuff done, we've got a very difficult first qualifier, which could ruin our progress and the country's progress. So let's go and have a look at the team we picked today as we face Shamrock Rovers. Now we've got some bad news as well. In terms of suspensions carrying over from last season, both Daniel Williams and Archie Woods are suspended following the knockout against Arsenal last year, where they got booked in the second leg. However, we've got a few players on trial that could potentially be in the squad soon, and our 2 new signings are both in the 18 today, so it's not all a lost cause. Because of the Woods suspension, Lloyd will make his debut immediately. Riley's on the bench as we opt for Jack Hankin, just for a bit more continuity. And this is the 11 we've gone for in full. George Wickham starts in goal as always. Hankin and Weaver the fullbacks with Al-Zabad and Badebo centre half. They're the wrong way round from the assistant picks. Lloyd in the holding role. Cannell in instead of Williams. He's alongside Ian Brooks with Ben Cottrell behind Dean and Duffy. A really good side. We've got a lot of quality in the squad. We haven't yet got the depth again. We need a 4th striker. We need a 4th centre half. We need another good fullback ideally. So we're not quite there yet, but we've got youth players coming through. We've got quality in the squad. And let's see how it goes against Shamrock Rovers. Certainly our toughest test for years in the first qualifier. So a lot of good players in this Shamrock team. And we've got a tough test on our hands. We're used to having sort of a walkover in this round against qualifiers from the real minnow nations. So to have a real loaded league, to have a good 2-star reputation league and a good side from it is going to be problematic. And early on, we're already seeing that. As Shamrock play out from the back, Alzabad nicks it though and finds Jack Hankin on the right. And we've got to bear in mind, as Hankin gives it away and proves my point I'm about to make, we've got a weaker starting 11 than last year. Curran gets in. Wickens makes a brilliant save, to be fair. Just gets a strong enough hand to tip it wide at a post. But Jack Hankin nearly made a costly error. We had the same with Ryan Hughes last season. Oh, the keeper's made a howler. We've got away with it. Again, blocked off the line. But you can see the difference in quality in this opposition. But we can't make those mistakes as Dean gets on the counter. Can we get our reward despite a poor start? Dean down the left is a good challenge by Kavanagh. And it's out for a throw-in on our right-hand side. 10 minutes gone. A lot of warning signs. But we've got a throw with Hankin right down by the corner flag. Kavanagh nicks it. The clearance only finds Weaver though. And Patchin heads it as far as him again. Weaver on the left-hand side. No real pressure on him. Goes back into Badebo at centre-half. Out to Yesden Weaver, the Welsh under-21 international. Finds Badebo again. Can we finally break the line? Brooks out to Weaver. This is the one. Edge of the box. Out to Brooks. Good sliding challenge. Finnegan clears it long downfield. And Jack Hankin recovers possession. No real pressure on him on the right. Can he get the ball into the box? Switches to Brooks. 30 yards out. Ian Brooks. We just told you he's the best player in the team. And he is proving it yet again. A screamer from 30 yards. We've had no say in this game so far. And I think with our first shot on target, we've stolen one. Look at the expected goals. Shamrock have dominated. They'll be gutted they're behind. But a crucial away goal. And here we are again. It's calmed down as there's now half an hour on the clock. Though Duffy's lost it on halfway. And the through ball finds Hoey on the right hand side. Gets into the box unopposed. There's a good challenge by Alzabad in the end. I thought it was Badebo on the left side. But Alzabad had come across. Made a good last ditch challenge. And the corner kick's put in by the left footer. Headed away as far as Cottrell. He's got a man up on the left. This is a great chance on the break. Cottrell's found Duffy. One-on-one with a defender. Holds it up well and he eventually loses it. The referee gives a free kick. He's lucky to get away with that. But it remains 1-0 and we're somehow clinging on. Shamrock, though, been by far the better side. And we reach half-time with Shamrock Rovers probably wondering how on earth they're behind in this game. I mean, they'd probably be wondering how they're not ahead, let alone the fact that they're behind. Just under an hour on the clock is a free kick from the left for Shamrock. Wickens comes and claims. Really good commanding goalkeeping. We talked in our tactical special earlier in the week just about how important the goalkeeper was. And his distribution there's not bad either, but Kavanagh beats Duffy to it. Mullen clears downfield. Curran flicks on. Finnegan gets it on the right. Weaver will go and chase him. He's been really good defensively today and is again there. As Cottrell finds Cannell. Into Brooks. Back to Lloyd, the holding role, and a solid debut so far. Up to Dean who loses out, and Weaver picks it up again on the left to Duffy. We look so threatening on the counter-attack still, and this is where our goals have to come. Duffy left side of the box, gets it inside, saved by Mullen, Cottrell's rebound blocked. Lloyd hoofs it forward again. But how have we not scored on the break there? We've really come back into it second half, but we've got tired legs and it's still 1-0, so anything could happen in this tie. Dean's been nervy and not at his best, so I'm going to bring Glatzel on and switch sides with Duffy. Cannell looks absolutely shattered, and because of the obvious suspensions, we've got to bring Benson on in the middle. He's a real good option in there, a bit more defensive minded as well, which might help in this situation. Otherwise, we're going to leave it 10 more minutes, then we'll probably take Cottrell off for Maguire. We've got to give Maguire as much game time as possible in these big matches, because in the little games, I want to give Tom Jones, the youngster, the real hot prospect from the youth intake, a chance to shine. We've got on the end of a free kick here as Wickens claims it well, and his distribution's poor. The clearance over the top to Hoey. It's another good save from Wickens, but he almost led to his own downfall there. Corner kick Shamrock Rovers. Chance to cross for the left footer. In swinger it'll be. Into the front post. They've done that 2 or 3 times today, but you've got to say, in terms of commanding of the area, George Wickens has been absolutely excellent. But the fact we're seeing continuous Shamrock highlights is a real worry for me. Fitzpatrick's got another free kick in our half. Long ball forward, Flynn flicks on. O'Brien unmarked. And this time Wickens can't stop the shot. Had just too much pace on it. And it's 1-1 on the night. I'm really worried about our European run this year. But we've got a free kick on the right with Lloyd on debut. In towards Duffy who loses out. Marshall clears it as far as O'Brien. And again they're countering in numbers. We just can't cope with it. O'Brien comes down the wing. Good challenge from Cottrell. Brilliant defensive work, but then he loses it again. O'Connor comes forward down the left-hand side. Hankin can't get there. It finds Curran in the middle. Switch of players intercepted though. Weaver finds Glatzel to Brooks. Up towards Duffy who flicks on. Glatzel gets there, loses out in the air, and O'Brien, the goal scorer, brings it away. To Flynn on the left-hand side. Back to Scales, long ball forward. Alzabad intercepts. It's a very good, even game. Benson's through ball. Is Duffy offside? He isn't, but it's a good save by the keeper, and it's out for a corner kick to Bangor City. We'll just see this one out before making a change. It's Ben Cottrell who will deliver. Towards the back post, it's headed away again. Shamrock Rovers are really dealing with us comfortably here. It could go either way this game, but we don't want to concede a second. Let's take Cottrell off, not had the best game. Callum Maguire gets the last 15, and it now becomes about getting the draw on the road, and we'll try and beat them at our place. Remarkably, I've had to drop to a balanced mentality because we're really struggling. We've had a long free kick forward. What's happened there? Hang on a minute, did you guys see that? Hankin hoofed the ball forward, Glatzel was chasing it, the highlight cut, and we're back with a penalty. What on earth has happened there? Joe Duffy's going to take it. I was just about to say we've dropped to balance, but we've now got a chance to nick it. Joe Duffy from the spot, in off the post. Jeez, Duffy, make it easier for me. It goes in, that's the important thing. It ends up being a good penalty. But it was another heart-in-the-mouth moment. Joe Duffy almost missing from the spot. They've gone 3 up front there, so what we're going to do is just drop our fullbacks all the way back to their defensive duties. Make sure we've got 4 men and a holding midfielder sitting there. We've got 5 minutes added on, and if we can cling on, this will be a fantastic result given the way the game's gone. As Benson chips it forward, it could get better. Duffy in the box, it's another pen. It's another penalty, and this time we actually saw the foul. Joe Duffy is going to step up and take it. He scored the first one, so we're not going to interfere. It says it looked like a dive from Duffy. I don't want to condone that, but if we can nick it 3-1, I'm certainly not going to complain today. Joe Duffy, can he make it a bit easier this time? Straight down the middle for 3-1. You cannot explain how little we deserve that. A 3-1 victory against Shamrock Rovers. The European run might be on the cards, but we don't deserve it based on this game. 2 late penalties really skewing the stats a bit there, but a good result and we're in prime position. And against Shamrock, I didn't expect that. Second leg time then. A few little injury knocks, a few players back from suspension, and most importantly, a 3-1 lead. No matter how undeserved it was, we've got it. So let's go and look at our lineup for this one. 3 changes then for the second leg against Shamrock. We're giving a first start to Keegan Riley at right back, and we bring in Woods and Williams after suspension. Of course, Luca Cannell was struggling with fatigue. Lloyd probably not ready for this level regularly, so it made sense to make those changes. A stronger bench than the last leg. Tyrese Palmer and Ethan Vaughan have both now officially left the club. And we'll take a look at what's becoming a very active Welsh window in the next episode too. But today, it's all about completing the job. If we get through this one, we're pretty much guaranteed group stage football. Here it is then, a very similar 11 for our visitors today. They'll feel so hard done by for losing the first leg 3-1, but it's what they come back with today. What tactic do they come out with? It's the same back 3, and we've got to hold them off. 0-0 with 5 minutes gone, and the longer it can stay that way, the happier we are. But Weaver's got an early throw on the left, and it could get even better. As Duffy gives it back to Weaver again. Through ball to Joe Duffy. There's 2 in the middle. Shots blocked off the defender. And Max Dean on the rebound. It was bobbling around like a pinball machine. And he managed to get it into the top corner in the end. The keeper was stranded. He was already on the floor from the last shot. And hopefully that is tie over. Just under 20 minutes on the clock. We're playing out from the back again with Wickens. Alzabad finds Riley, who's had a solid start on his debut here. Into Williams, up towards Max Dean. He loses out in a challenge. It's cleared as far as Curran in the centre circle. And Darber gets it wide to Marshall. Didn't start the first game, but he's back in this time. Really good player, playing in the Irish Premiership in real life at the moment. Back to Patchin, into the back stick. Alzabad heads away as far as Kavanagh. He goes back to his centre half and starts again. Out to the left to Leahy. And they're still keeping the ball well, Shamrock. They still look a very good side. Oh, that's poor. Into Hoey, the centre forward. Wins the header. And Wickens sort of down the middle from 18 yards out. He shouldn't be conceding a header. But he didn't get down quick enough. A rare mistake from the number 1. As Weaver heads away as far as Patchin. He gets it in central midfield. Back to Ndaba, Fitzpatrick. And out to the right wing. If they score again here, we might panic. As Wickens has to make a brilliant stop. He might have let in one a bit easily there, but he's made amends. And it's a corner kick to Shamrock. They're 1-1 and they're knocking at the door. To the back stick, Wickens comes and claims it. And he seems to have regained his composure. Well, as we reach 2 minutes of added on time in the first half, again we're fairly fortunate. Shamrock probably edged the game again as Woods goes long forward. Dean loses out in the air. But But if we get to half-time at 1-1, we'll be fairly happy with our progress. Long ball forward, Hoey flicks it down for Patchin. Out to Marshall, marauding down that right-hand side again. Towards the fullback, Weaver's chasing him. Can't block the cross though, and he's hit the crossbar. Curran on the rebound is offside, I think. But it was almost 2-1 to Shamrock Rovers. It was almost an almighty scare. And at half-time, by no means is this tie over. Up to the hour mark, Max Dean's picked up a knock. There's a couple of others looking tired, a few playing poorly. We've got a chance to get forward here with Riley. The new right back gives it away again. He's not had a good game actually. And Alzabad picks it up at centre half. Out to the left-hand side to Weaver. Has very much been the opposite on the left-hand side. Flying forward and creating chances. Duffy flicks on for Dean. Flicks on towards Cottrell. It's a good last-ditch challenge from the defender. Leahy brings it away down the left-hand side. They look so good. We really have been fortunate in this tie. It's a good challenge from Dino. Works all the way back. Long ball forward towards Duffy. Gets on the end of it. Beats the defender. And a last-ditch sliding challenge makes the interception. But what an opportunity that was. Max Dean's going to have to come off. He has been the better of the front two. But Glatzel on for the injured man. In attacking midfield, Cottrell replaced by Callum Maguire again. And in centre mid, it's either Brooks off to be replaced by Cannell. Or do I have to take Riley off for Hankin? I think I do. He's been so weak at right back. He's looked really under pressure. And we're going to have to get on the tried and trusted. Jack Hankin for the last half an hour. Surely the Youth Academy player won't let us down. Leahy's got a throw on the left-hand side though. Still 25 on the clock. And they only need 2 to get to extra time. Leahy delivers from the left. Weaver heads away. And it falls for Patchin to Marshall. Still dominating the territory. Still creating chances. In with Hoey, it's 2-1. It is big alarm bells at Bangor City here. Namporth is packed out as much as it can be in a seated capacity. And we are getting outclassed as Weaver's got a throw on the left to Glatzel. We've gone positive again. Try and get on the front foot. Oh, Daniel Williams, volley from the edge. It's just wide at the far post. Oh, this is getting too tense. We knew this would be a tough tie. But it looked like we were all but there. As Duffy picks it up in a centre circle to Jack Hankin. Long, aimless ball forward. Marshall clears away. Williams intercepts for Maguire, the sub. He's going alone here. He's got Duffy with him. Oh, that is stunning. Callum Maguire. He has not offered a huge amount since he joined this football club. But that is a very important and exceptional moment. Callum Maguire with a thunderbolt for Bangor City. And it's 2-2 on the night. It doesn't change a huge amount. If Shamrock Rovers score 2, they still go through. But if they score 1, there's no extra time now. We still edge it. As Finnegan crosses, cleared away by Badebo. Maguire picks it up again. He's been left in acres of space as they chase the game. Goes left to Glatzel. It's a little overhit. But there's 4 or 5 teaming up to get into the box. One of them's Archie Woods. Hits the post. Maguire on the rebound. Brooks the 3rd time. And Williams the 4th finally puts it in. Shamrock have pushed men forward and we've been able to counter them. Brilliant from Callum Maguire again. The good delivery from Glatzel and 3-2 should just about wrap it up. As Brandon Kavanagh gets it again to Leahy. They're not giving up Shamrock. They're still playing well. Curran down the left to the winger again. Crossing is cleared by Weaver. And now we can try and counter them. But they've got there first with Fitzpatrick. To Patchin. Over on the right hand side is Finnegan. We're sort of sitting a bit deeper, finding a good shape, but Alzabad's been caught out there. Brooks gives it away, and O'Brien shot straight at Wickens. Ian Brooks almost made a crucial mistake, but it's 3-2 on the night, 6-3 on aggregate, and hopefully job done. It was very nervy though. Well, individual brilliance has saved us in the first qualifying round of the Champions League. We move on to the second, where we went out last year against Gothenburg. So let's see who we get this time, because I've got a feeling it's going to be a very difficult test. Well, first bad news, Max Dean pulls a hamstring, 2 to 3 weeks out for him, and we will be facing Maccabi Tel Aviv in the second qualifier. By no means an easy draw, a very difficult test, and just like Gothenburg last year, if we're not at our best, if we don't have our squad intact, we could well be in trouble. So if you're looking forward to that one and you did enjoy this episode, please do put a thumbs up on the video. If you want to stay up to date and see how we get on, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. Links to all the playlists, the live stream series and the podcast channel in the eye above. But a massive thank you for your continued support into another season. And I'll see you next time for another big test in Europe.